All right, guys, welcome to our third section. Woo! We're going to talk about our future. All right, so what is your goal for 2023?
I'm graduating this year, so I'm very excited about that. Woo! Yeah. So I'm going to be graduating and maybe doing an English teaching job. We'll see. But now I'm moving over to the process of figuring out what I'm gonna really do next, because it's like, you know, you can always think, okay, high school's next, okay, college is next. Wait, what's after college? There's nothing in the manual about that. But I know I've already known for a long time that I'm gonna be a missionary. So now it's figuring out, what does that look like, because especially now, missionary means so many things. You know, missionary, it could be, you know, so many kinds of ministry. So it's trying to start to figure out, what kind of missionary am I gonna be? Where is God leading me? So I think that's gonna be this transition that's gonna start happening in 2023 for me.
Awesome. Love it.
Yes, I'm not graduating yet, but I'm getting close.
Got this.
I'm almost there. Why did it? Yeah, that sounded so sad. But it's also that weird space of like, yo, what am I gonna do afterwards? Because I know that God has a place for me in ministry, and I really do recognize that God has prepared me for missions. But it's like that wrestling of, God, are you going to take me to another country, or are you going to keep me here? Like, what do you have in store for me? That's almost where I'm at now. And I guess even before I came to Moody, it's like, I just want to be faithful in studying his word and faithful in training and preparing. And I guess that I can hold on to that. That's the thing I'm holding on to. But, you know, there are a lot of things that are swirling around, you know. But yeah, that's just the simple goal, and making the most of my time here.
Yes, so for me, it is that time to join the military, it seems like.
Hey, Gundes!
I still haven't... not yet. Yeah, I haven't completely made my mind upon it, but I'm currently leaning towards joining the military right now. Yeah, after this semester.
Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Let's clap for him!
Lift it up, lift it
Let's
up.
get for 2 years of army. I mean, one
Year
year
and a half.
Okay,
Year and a half.
So graduating, and woo, yeah, so fun. So many decisions to make of where in the heck. Like, it's that we're moving again. We're doing that again. I'm leaving. I'm gonna have to make new friendships. I'm gonna have to figure out how to do long distance with the friendships that are so close to me. I'm gonna have to learn how to emotionally, like, let them live their lives and let myself live my life, and the whole thing. And I'm going into, I don't know where yet, but I'm gonna go into a master's for counseling.
The counselor.
Yeah, counselor.
That's-
So I'm very
need, you know.
excited.
We need more counselors in this world.
Well, you're gonna do counseling too.
Hopefully.
So, yeah. So I think my goal is to focus on the Lord in this transition as much as I can, and and just see him flow out of that and have that hit all of these things that I'm anxious and worried about. Like, I want to handle this transition a lot better than I handled, like, leaving Greece at the end of high school and leaving France. Like, I did that. I messed up a lot in those because I didn't know what I was doing. And so now, 4 years of living at Moody, I can kind of, like, see and be like, okay. So my goal is to, like, handle this transition well. And I know that's there's gonna be mistakes, but I know the Lord's gonna be faithful in it. So
Thanks for sharing. Woo! Do you guys see yourself in a ministry, serving in a ministry, and which field of ministry do you guys want to serve in? Have you guys ever thought about MK ministry? Hint, hint.
Yeah. No, I absolutely see myself in ministry. I don't know why, but I've just known for a really long time that I was going to do that. Oh, and so figuring out, is there a specific group that I want to go to? I think when choosing to be a missionary, a lot of people tend to put stock into, what's the best mission organization I can go with? What is the country that, like, it's a perfect fit for me, you know, where the culture is the best fit for me, the food is the best fit for me. And we don't really take enough time to just say, where is there a need?
Mm-hmm.
Where is there a need that I can just meet?
Yeah.
And, you know, some people think, okay, once I decide to be a missionary and go to this place, I'm going to have to be there for the rest of my life. Why not just take a year,
Mm-hmm.
go to some random country doing some kind of mission work and see what happens?
Yeah.
It's like, worst comes to worst, that's 1 year of your life.
Mm-hmm.
In the long scheme of things, that's actually not is that too much to give to God, that 1 year to just go and try it out? So I think that's where I'm at right now. I don't know what group I want to go with, but I just want to go meet a need and do ministry without being under my parents anymore. See what ministry is like when I'm doing it by myself.
I'm almost wrestling with the opposite issue. It's because I've gotten tastes of short-term missions, and I think there's a big value in them, but it's also like, how can God use me in a long-term commitment? I mean, I'm pretty young. It's not really something I feel like a lot of people my age would consider, just because it's a huge commitment, and that's what I'm wrestling with. Because if I feel God is calling me to missions, do I jump in? And there's a lot of amazing examples of missionaries doing that, or do I, test it out first and see? And I've been part of missions work in different countries, and I know some opportunities and I know there's needs, but really like discerning, where is God calling me, and is it going to be for long term? And I'm willing, and I know it's going to be hard, but I want to be used where God has me. And so yeah, it's like, yes, I could go to a 1 year thing, but maybe it's better that I wait until God gives me that place or that people group or that organization or that ministry that's struggling. And yeah, that's a big thing to wrestle with, and it's something I think about every day, because sometimes it's not, you hear these miraculous stories of God called me to this place, this exact location, and he spoke to me through this way or through this person. And I've had experiences where God really made a decision clear for me, but it's not always like that. And the waiting is the killer part, because I feel like MKs live fast-paced lives. And so to have to wait and maybe be uncertain is a really hard thing to do. But yeah, I guess I just am learning to pray more about it, and learning to keep an open ear and an open eye. And like, when we have missions conferences, go talk to people and be aware of what there is, because there's a lot of unreached people, and unreached people are a huge priority for us as a missions community and with the missions mindset, because everyone needs Christ. But some places are just really, really in need. They're desperately in need. And so am I one of those people that God is calling to that? I don't know. But if I am, I want to be careful to listen to that.
Yeah, I came into Moody wanting to do missionary kid ministry after Moody, and that's why I chose counseling. So I would love to be able to use my counseling degree and master's, hopefully, in that way. And yeah, I don't know what it's going to look like. And that's kind of exciting, but also really terrifying of like, Lord, where are you going to take me? Like at this point, it's like, where am I going to be in a year doing school? Am I actually going to be doing school, or is that going to change? So it's like a definite yes ministry I want to always have in my life, but I'm also willing for that to change so many times into something new, and see where the Lord takes that. And I want to like be faithful where I am, wherever that is, and whatever I'm doing. So, yeah.
What are your thoughts about MK ministry, and how do you want to encourage the fellow MKs?
Yeah, so MK ministry has been on my mind for some time, since I've served in like MK youth camps and stuff. And I know that they are in need. We have talked about some of the issues that we face. They face the same thing. They need a counselor, right? You too. But yeah, so I think I'm putting MK as an open option for now. And something that I want to tell them is to value their story. Growing up as an MK, you don't really have much, right? Some MKs have a lot, some MKs live with very few. But from the, let's say, poverty, God has given us the story, right? Something that is of our highest possession. one of, right? And so I want to tell these MKs to, yeah, truly value that, learn from it, and guard it, because that's what has formed you so far and what will form you throughout. Yeah.
For MKs who are currently with their parents on the mission field right now, I would just say to them, which it would have been nice to hear this too growing up, is just God doesn't give us more than we can handle. And
Amen.
I don't know, I just think that, like, for example, he picked Isaac and he knew Isaac would be the best missionary kid to go with his parents to be in the Amazon at that time. And he knew that he promises that he won't give us more than we can bear and he will be with us. And so just that wasn't a coincidence, that it was like, well, I guess Isaac's the only one left. Put him in this position. You know, with all of us, it's that way. He put you in that specific time, and it's not going to be more than you can bear. He is with you. Yeah, I think that's a truth that if I had known earlier on and had understood that more, I think my experience would have still been still was very positive, but transformational probably for me.
What would have been nice to have heard was that the Lord created each one of us beautiful, and like he is proud of his creation, and he's proud of the person that has grown up in like multiple countries or in one country but is technically from a different country. Like echoing both of what you guys have said, like this wasn't a coincidence, this was on purpose, and like he is creating you into that woman or that man of God with all of those different cultures and complications into it, and like be confident in who the Lord has made you to be, even if that's different than everyone around you. Yeah, I think that would have been really good to have heard.
I didn't really hear a lot about MK ministry going up. I didn't really know that was a thing until I came back and I was talking with people, and they were like, oh yeah, there's in certain organizations there's certain support systems, and you know, it looks different for everyone. And so I didn't really know what I was missing. And so even just like now considering, you know, do I have a role in MK ministry? I don't know. And I've been thinking about that, but I don't know. But as far as like giving advice to, I guess, my younger self or to MKs, I would say that in your experience, your life is going to become the mission field. Your life is so centered around, okay, what does a Christian do? How should a Christian act? There's pressure from your parents so that your family can look good on the mission field. There's pressure to be a good testimony, to appear one way. And I think maybe this is a universal MK thing. I mean, if you didn't experience this, I think you were very blessed, but there's an exterior, like who I am to people, and then an interior of who I really am, and that struggle of, am I presenting myself in the same way that I actually think, in the same way that I actually believe, you know? And there's a lot of times when I in the field when I was acting one way, but I was definitely struggling in another way. And I think it's not healthy, and this happens to pastors' kids as well. And really anyone who's maybe their parents are in a place of authority. It's not healthy to lock that all up, and it's not healthy to think, you know, that MKs have to be perfect or their parents have to be perfect, because the reality is no one is perfect. And I think extending, for the non-MK, extending grace to everyone, including those who are missionaries and who are missionaries' kids, is really important, because I feel for MKs that you guys should have a space to mess up and to stumble and not be ridiculed by it, and not to feel like your failure is going to be the end of the ministry, or your failure is going to define you for the rest of your time. You know, everyone goes through a lot of hard things, but it's always about turning back to God and looking back to how he's changing you, and how through those mistakes and through those hard times, you're becoming a new person in Christ. And don't be afraid to talk about hard things with your parents, because they are really your most important support system. Or maybe even there's someone on the field, maybe it's a teammate, or maybe there's a university student who's really looking to help disciple you or to be part of your life, to reach out and to be honest and open. even though it's one of the hardest things to do while you're in the spotlight. Don't miss that opportunity, because it just carries on, and you're just going to keep putting up a wall or having a mask, and that's not who you really are, and you know it, and it's going to hurt you. And being open to those around you is a chance to grow, and you don't want to just stunt your growth. You don't want to just not ever come to terms with the hard stuff and not come to terms with your relationship with Christ. And that's what happened to me. Is I felt like as I left that country, there was so much that I didn't unpack. I had compartmentalized it away, and then as I had that discipleship relationship, and as I got to talk with other people and open up, I realized I had a lot more trauma, I guess is the right word, than I realized. And I think that's what is like the silent, I guess for lack of a better term, the silent killer is just not coming to terms and processing all those things. And then they all come in at once, and then you don't know who you are. And if you're not rooted in who you are in Christ, you're going to look somewhere else. And yeah,